Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. And keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as, investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence. Put in the work for yourself and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy.
All right, folks, here we are on Thursday, January 18th. We're going to take an updated look at Chargepoint today. So Chargepoint getting crushed again today, down over 7% at the moment. And the search party is still out, still looking for where could the floor be? If we zoom this out to the weekly, you see what's the atrocity that is the downturn of Chargepoint looks like. Now, we did have this previous downtrend resistance. I'm going to take this off because it's really probably out of the way for the time being. And while we're up here, I'll point out there is still this big gap. And this day where this stock fell over 10%, and then the following day drew down over 9%, and that kicked off this most sort of latest, I guess it's not the latest plummet, but the the near latest plummet. There's this gap that we'll get into at about 6:33, would fill it at about 7:04. I mean, that's an astronomical ways away for the time being. So we'll see if there's sort of any muster to come fill that at some point. But the other thing is you see this gap here on this day where it dropped over 35%, and that big sell wall that I'm still going to claim exists up here. We saw it play out there pretty effortlessly, if you will. And so here we are. Now I'm going to put in a new downtrend resistance. Let's see where we want to situate this. Then I want to put this in as a ray to terrify everyone and show that it is extending indefinitely. Okay, so we'll go candle body, and we'll go candle body here, and that'll capture this wick and these candles as well, and this one. So that's the downtrend resistance as I currently see it. Now, we don't really have any muster toward pushing through or pushing to, and so we'll see if it starts to sort of threaten to collide with this at any point in the near future, what it does if and when it gets there. Now, on the think or swim side of things, the big advantage to the think or swim study is that when we get into places like this where there's just no previous price action to base support and resistance levels off of, and even then the trend line is quite far away, we have this nice dynamic channel that shifts every time a candle is put in, and so it stays somewhat proximal to the price action and gives us something to look for in terms of support, resistance, what have you. Now, on the histogram and the TTM squeeze indicator, we see bearish momentum still picking up, getting quite heavy at the moment, though, meaning it's getting quite deep. We see it got a little bit deeper here, right? If you just follow this gray line to the left, you see it's cutting, up here in the maybe 80, 90th percent or so of these candles. And so we'll see how much more oomph the bears have to drag Chargepoint down. It's also getting pulled out of the channel at the moment, and what we always look for when a stock leaves the channel is ultimately when is it going to re-enter the channel and test the mid-range. Now, in between it re-entering and testing the mid-range, there's a few other things that we sort of call into question. When it collides with the channel, this lower bound of the channel, what does it do, right? This had quite a struggle getting itself into the channel, but did a good job. I mean, at least it didn't reject off and then come down significantly further. And then it also struggled to get through the red wave cloud, which is sort of the next line of defense. Then ultimately it was able to come up and tap the midpoint of the channel. So that will be the question here if Chargepoint continues to push out of the channel and it gets some sort of clear separation like this. What does it do when it approaches the channel? Does it hit resistance? Is it able to get itself in? And if so, what does it do with the red wave cloud? And ultimately, where, at what point, meaning what price point, does it reconnect with this mid-range of the channel? And, that at least gives it an opportunity to put in some price action above the mid-range, at least maybe stabilize the price action a little bit, stop the bleeding, if you will. I'm not going to go so far as to say reverse trend. I mean, trend reversal at this point means what? In a stock that's gone through this sort of loss of stock price. 49.48 was that peak. 36, 27, 19, 18, right? So, I mean, what even a recovery would look like, I don't know. At what point you would say, oh, it's reversing trend now. I guess maybe at a point where we could put in an uptrend support or something like that. But yeah, it's quite a challenge for, if there are any left, the Chargepoint bulls. But we'll see what it does with this channel. But it does appear, at least for the moment, that the bearish momentum on the histogram is wanting to put in a deeper and deeper cut for the time being. All right, folks, I hope that your trading week has been going well. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.